Welcome back to the world of darkness and lore. Today we're sinking our teeth into vampires in diverse mythologies and folklore from around the world. From Chinese vampires that have lost the ability to walk due to rigor mortis, to beautiful women that sever themselves in half and grow wings to catch their prey. For this list, we'll define a vampire as a creature that preys on humans by draining their life force, often but not always through their blood. And we're focusing on creatures that can take humanoid forms, excluding those like the Zulu Impundulu or the succubus, which, although vampiric, assume the form of a thunderbolt, bird, or a dream. First up is the menacing Monananggal from the Philippines. The Monananggal is a type of vampire from Filipino folklore. Always female, she appears as a beauty in her human form. However, at night when she hunts, her image drastically changes. The word Monananggal is derived from the Tagalog language, where Monananggal means to remove or to separate. After dusk, when searching for her prey, she grows large fangs and leathery bat-like wings and rips her body literally in two, leaving her severed at the waist. Her tongue stretches out of her mouth like a snake, probing for victims. The Monananggal is nocturnal and is primarily active during the night. She preys on sleeping men and women and uses her elongated tongue to suck the blood or the internal organs out of its victim while they sleep. But her favorite food is a pregnant woman. They are said to live high in the trees, deep in the jungle. And how would you defeat a Monananggal if you were unfortunate enough to come across her? According to the legends, crushed garlic or salt are the tools you will need. Wait until nightfall when her torso separates from her body. Then sprinkle salt or garlic at the ends of her torso or legs, and she will no longer be able to attach back into human form and will eventually be vanquished by the morning sun. Next, we journey to the cold highlands of Scotland to meet our next vampire, the Bavon Shei. Though often compared to fairies or succubi, the Bavon Shei is a vampiric humanoid creature who preys on humans by drinking their blood. They are described as beautiful, young women with fair skin, long flowing hair, and a dark secret. Beneath their dresses, they hide the furry, cloven legs of a deer. In contrast to the solitary vampire of Western lore, the Bavon Shei form a sorority or sisterhood of vampiresses. They are known to be cunning and work together to ambush and seduce their victims. Their long fingernails open the throats of victims, allowing them to feed. In the most famous tale of a Bavon Shei, 4 men were resting at night in a bothy, or a Scottish hut, after hunting for the day. They started boasting about their hunting skills and singing loudly, wishing there were women there to celebrate with them. Unexpectedly, 4 alluring ladies entered the isolated hut. But everything was not what they wished for. These women were the Bavon Shei. They danced with the men until the singer noticed blood dripping from his friends' necks. He immediately ran, and the Bavon gave chase, but he managed to hide. When he returned in the morning, his friends had passed, drained of all their blood. So how on earth would you repel a group of female vampires as terrifying as the Bavon Shei? Well, apparently, horses and iron are your best friend. Unlike the wooden stakes and holy water of the vampires rooted in Christian folklore, the Bavon Shei are more vulnerable to iron weapons and scared of horses. Traveling east, we find the Jiangshi in Chinese legends. The Jiangshi is also known as the Chinese hopping vampire due to the strange way it moves. As it is undead, it experiences rigor mortis in its limbs, unable to bend them, and resulting in a peculiar hopping motion with its arms outstretched. In contrast to our previous creatures of darkness, this vampire feeds on life force through their qi rather than blood. Qi is believed in China to be the vital life essence flowing through all beings, and when that is fully consumed by the Jiangshi, his victim perishes. The Jiangshi comes from a corpse when it either consumes too much yin or light energy, or when it is reanimated by way of necromancy. Since they have been dead for a long period and can't die, they are often seen in outdated robes, usually from the Qing dynasty. In contrast to the porcelain-skinned vampires of European tradition, their skin is tattered and has a greenish hue from decay. It is not easy to defeat this hopping menace, so if you find yourself in danger of having your qi life force drained, we suggest making a few preparations to ward them off or prevent them from harming you. First, Bagua mirrors work twofold. In defending against the Jiangshi, they reflect light which scares them off, and they are also scared of their own reflection staring back at them. Items made from peach wood are also said to be able to defeat the Jiangshi, due to their ability to subjugate the Jiangshi's evil aura. Most notably though, a yellow paper talisman with a spell written in chicken blood is most effective to drive the Jiangshi away. The vampire witches known as Chedd can be found in Indian folklore, specifically the region around the Godavari River. Chedd are said to be women who died as either prostitutes or during childbirth. She is said to be another beautiful seductress, riding at night atop her white tiger. She rides fully unclothed to a household where men reside and hypnotizes the people inside and puts them to sleep. From there, she seeks the strongest man in the house and sucks his blood through his toes. The man is incredibly weakened in the morning, with abrasions left on his skin. He grows weaker and weaker for 10 days, and if he is not treated by someone specializing in antidotes against Chedd, by the 10th day she returns and he perishes. She can also feed off of negative emotion and the strain of a marriage. Often, a wife will see the abrasions on the victim's skin and accuse him of infidelity, and thus the Chedd feeds off the discord and sadness of the household. She is also known to be able to shapeshift into the form of a fierce tigress. Luckily, the Chedd is quite easy to defeat. As they rely on their hypnotism, they are not strong combatants, and will run away if challenged by a man using any instrument as a weapon. Finally, we come to the vampire in Romanian mythology, the strigoi, in this instance the strigoi mort. Our traditional Western idea of a vampire is heavily inspired by the strigoi, including Bram Stoker's Dracula. The first person documented as being an apparent strigoi was Juri Grando of modern-day Croatia in 1656. The villagers attempted to defeat his reanimated corpse by driving a hawthorn stick into his chest, but they couldn't penetrate his skin. Eventually, they slayed it via beheading. The strigoi are said to be bald on top of the head with sharp teeth and a thirst for Romanian villagers' lifeblood. Rather than the vampiric bite causing one to turn, like the Bram Stoker idea of a vampire, a person became a vampire after death because of the way he lived his life. If he died without being married, by execution for perjury, by his own hand or from a witch's curse, then he would become a strigoi. There are many ways to defeat a strigoi, many of which we will recognize as similar to the traditional view of a vampire. Being aware of a strigoi while he is still a lifeless corpse is a great way to prevent a strigoi attack. There are many ways to do this, but one of the more common is to use a young boy dressed in white, riding on horseback near a graveyard. The horse would then stop in front of a strigoi's resting place. Once you have identified a strigoi, then behead the remains and place burning wooden stakes in their chest or stomach. If you are unlucky enough to encounter a risen strigoi, then a beheading or a wooden stake, usually made of ash or yew, driven through the heart will suffice. These different interpretations of the vampire throughout different mythologies remind us how universal the vampire archetype is. While their appearances and methods may vary, the common thread is their predilection for human life force and the resourcefulness of people in finding a way to defeat them. See you again on Darkness and Lore.